Welcome everybody. It's so great to see so many new and familiar faces here tonight. For special programming, it's gonna be a little bit untraditional tonight. I asked Braden, our elections director, to invite everyone running for office in this year's election to have the opportunity to see how a Senate meeting runs and also introduce themselves. So first off, I'd like to ask any senatorial candidates present to come on down. And I'd like you to say your name, year, major, the position you're running for, and very briefly some of your policy points or your platform. So anybody running for Senate, even if you're a current senator. You can just make a line. Looks like you're starting.
Fantastic. What was it? It was just names.
What you're running for and what you're running on.
Okay, cool. Hello, my name is Michael Brown. I'm currently a sophomore in engineering, specifically mechanical engineering. I'm running for the Senate position of the College of Engineering, and I run for the people. I really like helping people out. I like giving people a voice, even if they don't have one. So that's just kind of what I like to run on and what I like to do. So if you ever want to say hi, say hi.
Hi, I'm Josh Ackerman. I'm currently a sophomore in marketing and general management. I'm running for Senate in the College of Management. I'm running for people just to give them a voice in Cranert, an opportunity to speak my mind, but also represent a group of people. Yeah.
My name's Sam DeLucia Green. I'm running for re-election for the Honors College Senator position, and I'm studying computer science. And similar to Michael and Josh, I want to give people a voice.
Hi guys, my name's Anna Hampton. I'm a junior studying natural resources and environmental science and political science, and I'm running for a Senate position in the College of Agriculture. I would definitely like to do a lot with sustainability on campus and also help serve the College of Ag and our students.
Hi, I'm Avery Mann. I'm a sophomore and I'm running for senator for the College of Education because I just wanted to see a lot more representation for our female-dominated majors and colleges.
My name is Sydney Terrell. I am rerunning as senator for the College of Ed, and I'm a sophomore studying elementary education. I got involved in Senate because there is a lot of educational policy that happens in Indiana that students aren't that aware of, so I really wanted to raise awareness for that, because while the College of Education is on the smaller side, the people leaving it are going to have a major impact on the future, being teachers. So.
Hi, I'm Yana de Guzman. I'm currently a senator and running to be senator of College of Science again. I'm studying neurobiology and physiology, and I've been part of PSG for 2 years, and I've just loved hearing what the student body says and creating legislation and supporting legislation as well, and giving them that voice that we see as in PSG.
Hi all, my name is Claire Bowman. I am rerunning for my position as Senator for the College of Science. I am a current sophomore in atmospheric science, and I am really running to represent all Boilermakers, but specifically Boilermakers that are minorities, students of color, queer Boilermakers, and especially as a woman in science, I am looking to raise support for our women in STEM fields here at Purdue.
Hi all, my name is Lily Ferguson. I am a junior studying food science, and I am rerunning to be a senator in the College of Agriculture. I am rerunning because I want to give all students in the College of Agriculture an equal voice, no matter their major or who they are in the College of Agriculture. And I just want to create a larger community in ag.
Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Mariani. I'm a freshman in pre-ag and bioengineering. And my platform is mostly just wanting to connect more with the Purdue student body, because I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between us and the Purdue student body, as well as partnering with other student organizations to make the campus better for everybody on it.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and give these candidates a round of applause. And I'd also like to recognize three, I can go and take the mic, three senatorial candidates who couldn't be with us here tonight. Divya Natur, representing the Polytechnic Institute. She's a sophomore in aviation management, aerospace financial analysis, and business communication. Gabriela Da Silva, representing the College of Pharmacy, who's a freshman in pre-pharmaceutical science, and Lucas Battini in Healthy Human Sciences, who's a freshman in pre-professional health sciences. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and you can go ahead and take a seat. And next, same drill, I'd like to invite all executive branch candidates down to introduce themselves as well. Again, name, year, major, the position you're running for, and maybe very briefly, I know executive platforms are a little bit bigger, but if you could keep your platform to just a couple bullet points or maybe your acronym or something like that, that'd be great. So anybody running, go ahead and come on down. There you go, you guys are on the end.
Hi, my name is Izzy Weber, and I'm majoring in mechanical engineering and minoring in management. What I really want to do with this vice presidential position is promote health and safety on campus, as well as create centralized information and raise wages and parking.
Hi, my name is Andrew Jensen. Currently, I'm the ABTS liaison, so you guys are pretty used to seeing my face here. What I want to do on campus this year, or I guess next year, would be increase wages and then the volume of parking as well as usability, and then improve health and safety, as well as create a centralized information database that can easily find resources on campus.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Gockenauer and I'm running alongside Sam Zhang. I'm the vice presidential candidate. I'll also be introducing him today since he's sadly in an exam tonight. But one of the things that I am really passionate about on campus and through our platform, Unite for Change, is safety. I'm one of the founding executive members of Me Too Purdue, so prioritizing survivors' voices and making campus more accessible and safer for them is a huge point of our policy. Sam is a junior in biomedical engineering, and he has an extreme passion for sustainability. He was previously involved in PSG on sustainability platforms, as well as an executive director, and he's really excited to bring that passion back into PSG.
My name is Matthew Williford. I am currently in PSG as well as a director of governmental relations. I am a sophomore in political science and history. I'll also introduce Shreya Jen, who cannot be here tonight. She's my running mate. She's a sophomore in political science and communication. Both of us are very passionate about grassroots organization on campus and kind of this bottom-up model of government. Some things that we want to look to get done here on campus is expanding mental health, possibly expanding it outside of the CAPS program, and taking that and giving that option to students to seek mental health care elsewhere, as well as campus safety, expanding blue lights, improving blue lights, and expanding those especially off campus, places like Village West, the Quarters, 231 Flats. We both strongly believe that every student at Purdue is entitled to the same status of safety as people that live on campus. And in addition to that, and to that end, we would like to expand Safe Walk and Safe Ride off campus as well.
Hi, Senate. I'm Veronica Reynolds. I'm a current junior from the Chicago suburbs studying organizational leadership and minoring in design and innovation. And I'm so proud to be in my third term as a Polytechnic senator and your president pro tempore. So I'm running as a presidential candidate on the Reynolds-Sedona campaign. Our pillars, we have 7 pillars, and it stands for amplify, and we want to amplify student voices. So the A, they each stand for something. I will go over it very quickly. A stands for advocate student needs. M covers mental health and well-being action. P stands for personal-based violence prevention. L stands for legislation-driven policy, which is something that we've done so much of. I stands for inclusivity, diversity, and equity. F stands for fostering sustainable practices, and Y stands for your Boilermaker experience.
Hi, my name is Ellie Dodona. I'm a junior majoring in general management and economics and minoring in political science and philosophy. I'm running for vice president alongside Veronica Reynolds. Most of the platform points were touched on by her, but I guess the center of our platform is talking to students, getting their opinions, and focusing on policy-driven changes in order to better improve Purdue as a whole.
Hi, first off, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you all for the candidates for being here. My name is Mohammed Buftis. I'm currently a senator. I've served for 2 terms representing the HHS College. My running mate is Arwa Iqbal. She is currently a Supreme Court justice in PSG. She served as a clerk last year. And what we're trying to do essentially, our slogan for our campaign is #Connect. And our mission essentially is to connect, really bridge the disconnect between the student body and PSG, and at the same time, foster a sense of real connection among students on campus. And this is how, we believe we can really, prioritize student needs and the student voice as well. So, yeah, thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. I can go ahead and take the mic, Mohammed. And lastly, I want to just recognize, thank you so much, our 6th ticket, which is made up of presidential candidate Tushar Sandvani, who's a junior in supply chain engineering, technology, and economics with a certificate in entrepreneurship, and vice presidential candidate Samita Mentina, who is a junior in business management and finance. And with that, at 7:18, I'll now call this meeting to order. We'll go ahead and get started with our introduction of visitors. Everybody who just introduced themselves, you don't have to go again. But I know we have some SOGA people in the back and the exponent as well. So if you'd like to just press your finger down on the microphone and wait for it to light up and hold it down, then you can speak.
My name is Ryan Bobber. I'm studying aerospace engineering. I'm a junior. I'm on the SOGA board.
My name is Seth Thompson. I'm an actuarial science major. I'm a sophomore, and I'm on the SOGA board as well.
Hi, my name is Shalay Ward. I am a junior majoring in public health and sociology, and I'm also on the SOGA board.
Hello, my name is Torn Vandervoort. I am a junior in visual communication design, and I am also on the SOGA board.
My name is Noah Meyer. I'm on the exponent.
Awesome. Thanks, Noah. Any other visitors? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to proxy reports. If you're a proxy, please state your name and the senator you're proxying for.
Hi, I'm Shiv. I'm proxying for Hadley for the college.
Hi, I'm Teska. I'm proxying for Carly for the College of Engineering.
Awesome. Welcome. Any other proxies tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into roll call by Secretary Huang.
All right, I will do the roll call now. Please say here if you are Veronica.
Here.
Nate.
Here.
Lily.
Here.
Joshua.
Here.
Sydney.
Here.
Julia.
Here.
Mason.
Here.
Hadley.
Here.
Oh. Evan.
Here. Here.
Eleanor.
Here.
Cameron.
Here.
Garrett.
Here.
Mohammed.
Here.
Isabel.
Here.
Sam.
Here.
Michael Brown.
Here.
Andrew.
Here.
Adam.
Here.
Matthew Thomas. Lynn.
Here.
Claire.
Here.
Iana.
Here.
Ishida.
Here.
Sophie.
Here.
And Matthew Stockler.
Here.
Okay, now moving on to our land acknowledgement. Purdue student government acknowledges the traditional homelands of the indigenous people upon which Purdue was built. We honor and appreciate the Potawatomi, Delaware, Miami, and Shawnee people who are the original indigenous caretakers of this land. Senators, please rise for the Pledge of Purpose. Our purpose is to be the voice of the Purdue student body, serve the needs of students in all university matters, and provide leadership that stimulates initiative, inspires excellence, and exemplifies professionalism. And above all, hail Purdue. No. Okay. The minutes for the last meeting were distributed to you all via Google Drive. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as distributed. Now moving on to executive reports. President Kang.
Yes, so just wanted to provide some communication on what happened at University Senate this month. So the University Chair, Chair Bowden, had a task force that worked to address sexual assault and power-based violence, and to see what we could do about it on campus. The report came out, and I can distribute that to this group if you guys would like. But we came up with about 8 recommendations that were provided to the administration and were accepted very openly. And we did it like that because, we don't want to surprise the administration, and we want them to work alongside us. And we don't want to come in with random recommendations and push that on them. But luckily they were receptive to our suggestions. So hopefully in the next year, we will see some of those come into fruition. And I know many of us sitting here have put in that work and effort to go through it. Thanks to Amanda Shai and Ellie Dodona for serving on that task force alongside myself and a few graduate students as well. We were kind of the voices there for the students. And we had a great diversity on that task force as well. I've never served with some of those members, but the input was great. And we also had a wider scope of just as a university, what we learned from other universities and how we could apply some of those. And the suggestions are very specific to Purdue University as well, which is why I think they can be so impactful. Other than that, I believe I've also heard word that we have not received any more information from the investigation regarding the police incident with Adonis, but we are still waiting on that. But other than that, in terms of other PSG-related things, it's April. We are wrapping up. A lot of things that didn't happen in March are probably happening in April, so we're feeling very busy. So I'm just waiting to tie up together some BOD events like the One Day One Purdue and the Cultural Block Party. In April, the ARC does Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebrations, so be on the lookout for that, just to tie in the Leave Your Mark campaign to the final home stretch here. But I can't think of anything else right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. So some of my announcements, anybody on the email thread about the Veterans Absence Policy, it's not too late if you still want to be involved in that project. But please fill out the when to meet that's on there. Hopefully we can meet sometime towards the end of this week, early next week. And Morgan sent me the PowerPoint as well, and I attached that in that email if anybody wants to take a look. Speaking of University Senate, I've been working with Dr. Alice Pauley on trying to finalize 2059, which is the Dead Week policy from last year, a Reading Week policy officially. So trying to get that into its final form so it can hopefully be a little bit more palatable by University Senate. And then look out for an email/Slack message from me this weekend about transition documents. Any other executive reports? Treasurer Wiseman?
Shannon mentioned we're kind of wrapping up the year, coming into April. Please let me know if you're planning on spending money. Tag me on that APF. Our budget is use it or lose it. So if your college or committee still has funds, you put on an event before the year's over. Secondly, SOGA Period 4 applications due Monday, April 4th. This is events June through September. So if you know any orgs that want to put something on in the summer or at the beginning of next school year, this is the SOGA they should apply for.
Thank you, Sean. Any other executive reports? Eric, go ahead.
Hey guys, court's putting on Know Your Rights Week next week. So long story short, if you want pizza, show up in front of the Armory at noon, Monday through Friday next week. I think that's all I gotta really say about it, and just come say hi to us. So, yeah, there you go.
Awesome, thank you, Eric. Andrew?
Yeah, so Big Ten on the Hill is coming up at the beginning of April, so that's from April 3rd to April 6th. And a few people in cabinet will be going to Washington, D.C. We'll be meeting with both of our senators as well as a few members of Congress, the people that are over the districts of Purdue University as well as Indiana University. During that, we'll be talking about the United States Innovation and Competition Act. So that talks about infrastructure programs and innovation information. There's a lot more that is all in that. You can go online and look at that. I can give you the information and the link to that as well. We'll also be talking about increasing the FY23 budget, so that goes into grants for students and specifically international students.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Go ahead.
Hi, Senate. I just want to talk about your Senate duties. My goal of having them done by March has been a little slowed down, probably because you were all getting your signatures in, but just make sure your Senate duties are wrapped up before mid-April, before you have to study for finals. And then also, it is not too late to spend your money, like Sean said. And what's my last thing? Oh, it's not too late to write a piece of legislation. We have 2 meetings left. I know my goal at the beginning of the semester was to have everyone's name on a piece, and there's still time, but I'm proud to say that a lot of you have accomplished that.
Thank you, Pro Temp Reynolds. Any other executive reports? Yeah, President King.
Another important thing that happened at University Senate is that Winter Flex did pass. It was a win for the undergraduate students because based off a lot of the feedback that we got, students did not want to see our 16-week semesters cut down to a 15-week semester. Hearing a lot of things about mental health concerns and just the tightness of finishing the extensive and very rigorous course load that we already have. So a lot of things that are highlighted, and a lot of the professors have said that they are willing to take students abroad. So that'll be an opportunity for 3 weeks for students to do in the wintertime, maybe go get some sun in the southern hemisphere or something.
Yeah, awesome. Any other executive reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports, internal affairs.
Yeah, IA again is still working on some of our same projects. The standing rules, I believe, all of us know that looking through our internal documents take a long amount of time, and so I think that we are going to get very started on these at the beginning of this year, and as a lot of us are continuing into next year, those will be on the floor at the beginning of next semester most likely, just to give us time to make sure that those are as thorough and as well developed as possible before we put them on the floor for you all. Additionally, same thing with the Senate Associate Member Program. We don't want to put a piece of legislation on the floor that feels rushed for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Lily. FA?
Yes, so FA has continued doing our grant review. We've had a recent real influx. We're about hitting 35 applications that we've reviewed so far this year, which is an awesome amount, and we're still going. There is a finalized date for when the PSG Small Grant Program is going to end. It's going to be April 23rd is the last day to be able to submit those, because that is 2 weeks. You need 2 weeks for the APF, so that will be the last day allowed for submissions. Yeah, we're still working through those. Those have taken up a lot of our committee time.
Awesome. Thank you, Senator Dodona. CSRA?
Not too many updates on our side, but we finally got email responses back for our Blue Lights project, so we're able to start writing legislation.
Thank you. UAA?
Yeah, so Jeffrey Elliott, University Director of Academic Advising, answered back talking about how he got the tech committee to hold the video sometime between April 11th that week, and so we'll be reaching out to the people that want to do that so that we can set up a time for that, and then just waiting for a response back from Dr. SS to talk about some university document lines that we have to fix and make legislation.
Thank you. Pride Ad Hoc, any updates?
Not too many, though. Only one thing really is talking with Shannon about the LGBT Alliance and DNI, DOD, just having an event this Friday for Safe Centers.
Sounds cool. Safer?
Yeah, so Safer has been moving into hopefully having some multiple events that are coming up within the month of April. We're going to get a sort of finalized schedule out in the next couple of days, defining exactly what those events are going to be like and dates for them. In addition, we will have most likely a Title IX piece of legislation that outlines a little bit more of some of the obligations that are included in Title IX that are not outlined on Purdue websites. So that will be a piece of legislation coming from Safer soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for that update. Anything from MHA?
Yeah, so we actually just got brochures that were supposed to be here a couple weeks ago, but we just got them yesterday. And so shout out to Mike also for putting those in his office and keeping those for the day. We'll pick them up tomorrow, and then we'll also give them to Jeffrey Elliott in academic advising, and so they'll be able to give those resources out to other people. Also, if you still want a shirt or a bandana, we still have plenty of those, and so if you want to hand those out, you can come to the office and we can give those to you guys.
Sounds good. No other committee reports. Moving on to informal discussion. I have something to informally discuss. So I'm running for Grand Prix Queen this year, and as a part of my community service project, I'll be hosting a blood drive in the Honors STEAM Lab a week from now on the 30th. So if you'd like to donate, if you'd like to just come say hi, if you want to volunteer, I'd love to see your bright shining faces. So I'll throw my little thing in the Slack, but I just wanted to keep that on all y'all's radar and come to the race in April. Any other informal discussion? Yeah, President King.
Lynn touched on it, but with Pride, with the ad hoc committee, the LGBTQ plus Student Alliance is holding on a safe sex fair at Kroc this Friday from 6 to 9. So if you're around, I thought this would be a cool initiative for PSG to join in on, just because college, we all do things, especially we want to make sure that our students are practicing safe sex. University, it's undeniable. So we're trying to take an inclusive look on how to promote safe sex, and really excited to just kind of be a small contributing factor. But I think I'll learn a lot more at that event than we could possibly contribute. So excited for that.
6 to 9, where is it?
In Kroc lobby.
Okay.
I believe.
Any other informal discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Do I hear any old business at this time? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2168.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2168, a bill to expand participation in joint resolutions. This is the second reading of this bill. It's amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. I'll go ahead and kick it off with our author. Go ahead, Senator Dodona.
Yeah, so again, this is the second reading of this bill as required by our Constitution because it amends the bylaws. But the sentiment behind this bill is to open up the language that we currently use within joint resolutions, because the point of just joint resolution is to be a combined factor in policy changing. And so we wanted to open it up to organizations that don't match exactly the structure of PSG. Similarly, because formerly it was only used for Purdue graduate student government, and so the sentiment is to open up the language so it could be used in organizations that have a representative body, such as student councils as well as RHA. Yeah, that sort of summarizes the bill as a whole.
Thank you, Ellie. Any other discussion? Yeah.
I just have a quick comment to make in support of the bill, because I was just talking to Ag Council actually.
You're a little bit more.
You guys hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's better.
Mike's
No, you're fine.
So just a quick comment in support of the bill, because I had a conversation with Ag Council yesterday, actually was going through the legislation that would be on the floor tonight, and they were actually quite amenable and quite excited to see that there was a process that they potentially would be able to connect with PSG in a formal way. So just a bit of support.
Awesome. Thank you, Senator Ferguson. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we'll go ahead and move into a vote on Bill 2168. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? With a vote of 2301, Bill 2168 passes. Congratulations. Do I hear any other old business? Seeing none, we'll move into new business. Do I hear any new business? Senator Dodona.
I motion to bring up Bill 2170.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2170, a proposal for a PSG ad hoc committee for disabled students. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. With that, I'll let any of the authors, Senator Bowman.
Hi, yeah, so generally with this bill, we really had the intent that right now there really isn't a committee or a support system for disabled students formally in PSG. Myself, a member of the Neurodivergent Committee, I have noticed that while, the DRC does exist, and while that there are, certain requirements that professors make for class accommodations and things like that, there are also a lot of other kind of hidden accessibility issues across campus. for students with physical disabilities. Like there are a serious lack of handicapped parking spaces. You know, when it snows, there's a lot of ice on the sidewalks. There are a lot of just physical impediments. And for students with mental disabilities or have learning disabilities or are just part of the neurodivergent community in general, there is a really serious lack of kind of understanding between the students and the professors and between the students and the university. I think this bill was really created as a committee to really research those kind of inequalities and to make sure that disabled students are equally supported as their able-bodied counterparts, and to make sure that all disabled students feel comfortable at the university, because that all Boilermakers deserve to feel respected and represented at school.
Thank you, Senator Bowman. Any discussion? Yeah, Senator Buftis.
So to add on to that, you know, we want to foster and continue to maintain and foster a sense of inclusivity on campus, you know, and there are many students with disabilities, and unfortunately, as, you know, Senator Bowman alluded to, there's not a lot of, you know, ways to, you know, for people with disabilities to, you know, find the right resources or the right places to go to you know, to get help and to feel included on campus. So this, you know, the creation of this ad hoc, you know, obviously, you know, we're also wanting to, you know, collaborate with DRC, you know, to, really help students with disabilities essentially get the help they need and to, you know, ease their experience on campus and to make them really feel involved like any other person, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Buftis. Any other discussion? Senator Chris?
Yeah, so just a quick question, just to clarify and make sure we're all on the same page. This would be a ad hoc committee that's through the rest of this year and then all of next year, correct?
Yeah, it would be starting next
Senator
year.
Dodona?
I just wanted to have a quick question to explain some of the reasoning behind the time frame of this. I understand why, like, there's a decision to push back to next year, as we're doing this at the end of the year. I was just curious as to the reason why there's a choice to extend it for 1 year versus 2 years, 3 years, 4 years within such an important topic. I was hoping the authors could illuminate that a little bit for me.
Senator Bowman?
Yeah, I think part of the reason was that also, as you know, I think Divya originally had the idea to found this committee. Obviously, she is taking her internship, so I think between that, there is going to be probably some, I guess, reorganization in the committee. Also, I think we are just going to attempt to kind of see how it runs, see what we can do with the DRC. We didn't obviously want to make any super long-term lasting commitments. Obviously, this is a very important issue, and I think if, you know, we see the need that there still is work to be done and that we still have more progress to pursue, that we will come back and reform for you know, another consecutive year or two if the need arises.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Any other discussion? Could someone yield the president some time? Senator Silver?
I yield the president 5 minutes of my time.
Thank you, Senator Silver. So just like all the other ad hoc committees, I think this one will be a really effective and powerful advocacy pipeline that our Senate has created over the several years, and I think the longer it exists and the more people put more work into it, the better that our ad hoc committees become. So thank you to the senators for getting this started, kicking us off. The DRC is we all know it's there, but we aren't really sure. We've heard mixed stories about it, so getting the messaging clear and making sure students know that it's available, but also making sure students know that there are advocates available to connect them to the right people is going to be crucial. So thanks for starting this new advocacy pipeline.
Yeah. Thank you, President King. Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll move into a vote on Bill 2170. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? With a vote of 2301, 2170 passes. Congratulations. Do I hear any other new business? Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2171.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2171, the 2022-2023 Student Activity Fee Report. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. With that, I'll go ahead and allow Treasurer Wiseman to give us some background.
Thank you. First, it is not amendable.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, that is right. It is not amendable.
The SFAB board is a standalone committee that reports to the Senate regarding the evaluation and allocation of the student activity fee. For this coming academic year, that allocation is made through the SFAB grants. These are grants for student organizations or departments that have to be a minimum of $15,000. This year we had 71 grant applications totaling $5,150,000 requested. Unfortunately, we only have about $1.4 million to give out. So it was the job of the board to review all of the applications. Every group got to present to the board. And then in a viewpoint neutral manner, following our guidelines, we worked to bring that 5.1 down to 1.4. It is part of the SFAB Constitution that this report comes to the Senate so that they can review the report and make sure that the guidelines were followed and that the board was viewpoint neutral. We have several members of the board here today. They're the ones who actually do the voting on it, so I would encourage you to direct any questions you have to them.
Awesome. Could someone potentially yield me some time? I have a question. Senator Dodona.
I yield Vice President Wyrick 3 minutes of my time.
First off, I wanted to thank you. I know, especially if you were, all these groups requested $5 million. I'm sure you had a lot of applications to go through, and that took a lot of time. I just wanted to ask about the precedent of the $1.4 million given out this year compared to last year. If that is normal, if that's consistent with years past, or anything like that. Do you have an answer? Go ahead, Sean.
So you're asking why we have 1.4?
Yeah, and if that's comparable to previous
Yes.
years.
So the student activity fee is based on undergraduate enrollment, so it is actually more for this coming year because our undergraduate population is increasing. If you can look back at the old reports, we've been about 1.2, 1.3. We're fortunate enough to have, it is a projection, but estimated to have 1.45 to give out for next year.
Awesome, thank you, Sean. No, okay. Any questions, discussion? Senator Dodona?
Yes, so as talked about before, SFAB is only for organizations that request greater than $15,000. And so there was a conversation about what happens when an organization falls below that, and the decision made of deciding that if they fall below that, then no money was given. And so I was hoping that the board could clarify the process of making that decision and the reasonings.
So when it comes to this falling, we create at the beginning overarching stipulations to remain viewpoint neutral, and in doing that, we then apply them to all applications. And when the applications fall below that threshold, then we encourage them to apply to SOGA, which is where they would fall under in that method.
Awesome.
Does that answer your question?
I can also touch on it a little bit.
Part of it is because it ends up being more beneficial to the organizations if they fall under 15,000 because you can't apply for both. If you apply for SFAB and you receive SFAB, you can't apply for SOGA. So if they fall below 15,000, there's really no reason for us to be giving them money through SFAB because they could just receive more money through SOGA. So it ends up being better for the organization overall.
Can an org apply to SFAB and not get it and then go to SOGA? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions? Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Senator Dodona?
This is a conversation that we were having at caucus that I would like to bring it to the floor as well. Senator Ferguson can double check this on the constitutionality, but there is a clause that says if a senator is an executive in a leadership position within any of the organizations that request funding, they are not allowed to vote on this, and that includes abstentions. So if there's any conversation about that, I just wanted to bring that up so everyone was aware of that clause within our constitution.
Okay. Do we currently have senators who need to recuse themselves? Okay. Did they know who they are?
I hope so.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on 2171? Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask any senators who fall into that criteria to go ahead and recuse themselves, and you don't have to step outside, you just can't vote. So, any other discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. Okay, all those opposed? Any abstentions? With a vote of 1901, Bill 2171 passes. Congratulations. Do I hear any other new business? Oh wait, yeah.
I want to add, this report has not been published yet, and the groups have not seen this, so please don't distribute it. They'll be notified by me, and we will handle it from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean, for the heads up. Yeah, Senator Chris?
Motion to bring up Bill 2172.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Bill 2172, amendments to the Student Organization Grant Allocation Guidelines and Restrictions. This is amendable and debatable, not amendable and debatable, and requires a majority vote. With that, go ahead, Sean, take it away.
Yeah. So SOGA is another avenue for student organizations to receive grant money to put on their events. This for anything below $15,000, as you've all heard throughout the year. We follow these guidelines when reviewing these applications and just kind of compare the application to the guideline. The guidelines were last revised in fall 2019. So as we kind of went throughout the year, we saw some common themes of things that were tripping up organizations or parts that were confusing, just ways we could improve the guidelines. So we had a couple meetings throughout the year, made notes, and this is kind of the culmination of all of that.
Awesome. Thank you, Treasurer Wiseman. Any discussion? Senator DeDonough.
I had a question. I believe it's in the general guidelines and restrictions section of this bill. It's concerning the changing in language around the 8-day time frame. I guess I'm a little confused by the structuring of the document a little bit. So is there are we implementing the change of 8 consecutive days, Sunday to Sunday? Just so I'm clear on the changing of the timeline.
So it was always 8 days. We just rephrased it because it was asking like some groups would apply for funding that went over the date for applying for the different time frames, like in period 2, 3, and 4. And then there was the issue of, well, where does it fall under most? And to clear it up, we just said the first day, and then the 8 days follow. But the 8 days have always been applied, at least for this previous year. And I do not believe anything was changed prior time.
Go ahead, Sean.
I said it was 7 days, and it was changed this past year to be 8 days because even though it says Sunday to Sunday, it still tripped up some groups. And then I think you're asking, the word consecutive specifically is just for clarity. We said 8-day time frame, but people think maybe that's 8 separate days, and hopefully now they won't.
Awesome. Any other discussion? Senator DeDonough.
This is brought in caucus, but I wanted to get the opinion of the entire board. So in the general restrictions as well, there is a change in the language around like the cultural the cultural appreciation of food element within when giving funding for fooding, and that was changed to the educational component. So I was hoping the board could talk a little bit about that language change here regarding food.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we spent a lot of time talking about because it came down to the fact that as a board, it's not really something we're capable of doing, judging the cultural components of some of these applications we're getting and deciding fairly whether or not to award funding. However, it is something we can do to determine if it is educational, and overall, from what we're able to determine, the rules were provided in such a way that we're trying to have events that are primarily educational and beneficial in that regard to organizations. That sort of answers your question, though we can go a lot more into this. We spent a lot of time on this.
You're good. Okay. Any other discussion on 2172? See no further discussion. Move into the vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Bill 2172 passes unanimously. Congratulations. Do I hear any other new business? Senator Chris.
Motion to bring up the resolution 2173.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to bring up Resolution 2173, the addition of PSG legislative and judicial sessions to the Civics Literacy Proficiency Initiative. This is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. With that, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Chief Justice Furstenberg if you'd like to explain this bill a little bit more.
Yep, cool deal. So basically the origin behind this was kind of an idea I had, but a lot of us are aware of the civics literacy requirement that is currently a requirement to graduate for all incoming freshmen in future classes. So the way that I see this is that PSG can gain a lot of credibility among our student body with the university itself if we are willing to promote the things we do in these sessions to the student body. And I think that students who attend these sessions can gain educational experiences out of them. I know in traffic court, just being mere observers of our sessions can be very educational for students who would attend. I think students who we see on trial are oftentimes surprised, or my goal is I hope that they learn something, regardless of the outcome of their verdict. I feel like that we provide an educational experience for them. I think I've been in Senate sessions to know that these can also be very educational experiences for students who may not be aware of the kind of things that are going on campus. They might not be aware of things like the SAFER bill that was passed earlier this year. Significant pieces of legislation that we passed deserve to be known to our students, and what their implications are. And the idea behind it is the stuff that we do can be communicated by word of mouth or other means to students who attend these. The students who would come would fulfill a graduation requirement. They would fulfill part of the events pathway, if you will, by attending either our Senate or our traffic court sessions specifically. Those are the only two events. BOD events, as far as I understand, probably don't fall under this umbrella because they're our outreach events to students anyways. So we're talking about purely procedural things that student government does, is what this bill applies to. And we talked about some of the details in caucus, and I'm fully expecting us to continue that conversation. But I think one of the big things that we talked about so far is what exactly would suffice for a student who attends these to have met the requirement, to have gotten that educational experience. And right now the wording is that we have like 2 Senate bills having been brought up, or 2 traffic court sessions or 2 traffic court cases having been brought up as being like a minimum requirement. That's what's written in the bill. We can further discuss that. There are other components of the bill that also, or the resolution, I should start saying that, sorry, that are also in there, and I encourage everyone, while they have this opportunity, to look at them and bring up any concerns you have. The way I see this is a joint discussion that we should all have together, and I'm absolutely open to hearing what anyone else has to say. And for all of our candidates who are here tonight too, who are looking to be part of this organization, I mean, this has implications for the kinds of things that you guys would do too. So I'm open to having this discussion, and I'm looking forward to what people have to say about it.
Yeah, and really quick from a sponsor's perspective, I just wanted to add, I think Purdue student government is one of the most accessible forms of civic engagement on campus. I think the civics literacy requirement, so far it's brand new, hasn't been implemented very long, but it has focused a lot on American civic engagement and American civic literacy, and I think PSG is accessible to all students, international, out-of-state, in-state, doesn't matter, and so I think that is something that could really set us apart and kind of bring a unique aspect to the civics literacy proficiency. So with that, I'll open it up to discussion. Senator Ferguson?
This could be classified as a point of order, but I just want to clarify on what exactly we are voting on. And Veronica, or Pro Temp Reynolds, you might have some clarification on this because it was brought up in caucus. The specific bill, I know the background from the authors, which is found on the second page. Is that classified as part of the resolution that we are voting on and any information thereafter, or are we specifically voting on what is before the signature lines?
What is before the signature line? The second page is meant to just describe from the authors, especially because one of them is not here, just exactly what this would benefit. But I believe Eric can also answer any questions that are in the back of the author. But yes, if this passes and is successful, only the top part is what will be in records.
Any other discussion? Senator DeDona?
Yeah, so as was mentioned earlier, we had some conversations about exactly what like the duration of attending a meeting like this that would qualify. And I was hoping we could start with the author talking a little bit about like other events that are offered in this section in comparison, because we talked about the fact that there might be like a podcast that you could listen to, and that would be the only thing that would require. And so if we want to make this as successful as possible, in my mind, it should be as equal obligation to the rest of them, so that people would choose this one if they're interested in student government. So I wanted to get a better understanding of it in comparison to the other events that are offered in this civic literacy.
Yeah. Eric, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, this is amendable. I mean, we can do that if we want to. The only reason why I have that at 2 right now, is that's the exact wording I used, was just based on the fact that the bare minimum of, at least from the university perspective, of what is required is you have to submit a reflection. As I note in the bill, there is absolutely no guidance at all regarding what the standard quality of a reflective statement is on the event you actually attend. So that's something the university could clarify, and if this goes University Senate, that's going to be one of the forefront discussion points on that. So if the idea is like to include all things to be equal, as far as duration of the session in its entirety of the bill, if that's what we think is the right thing to do, I'm all for it. I just know that Senate sessions and judicial sessions, as we are subject to this too, I mean, they fluctuate greatly in the amount of time that is spent. And I think I threw that in there, I threw that number out there more with respect to the students' time. I think that was where that came from. But again, if it becomes an issue where it's like all of a sudden we're not really sure if students are spending enough time here to have a meaningful educational experience, I mean, yeah, we can make that decision right now and make that rule pretty cemented. If we were to say to stay for the whole time, then that does make it pretty clear right off the bat. So I would understand that and support that if anyone else is behind it.
Senator DeDona?
Yeah, I think that's a conversation we should have here within Senate. I guess I just want to be as specific as possible. My question is, how long are other events? Like, how long are other events? How much of the time commitment are they in person? I just think if we are going to try to incentivize people to come to this one over others, they should have a similar obligation or matching to ensure that, because if we make this and no one comes because it's a really, really big obligation, then there's no point of doing this. So that was sort of my conversation, because I don't know the exact other events that are provided under the civic literacy requirement. I think that would give us a good baseline to sort of have the conversations about how long it should be to meet that requirement.
Yeah, Eric?
Yeah, so I totally understand that. I must have misunderstood what you were saying at first. Yeah, so I mean, for anyone who might have done this, if you guys are purely curious, I don't think any of the other events that have been produced as part of the events pathway actually state a start through end time, as in like it is just a time and you just show up. And I don't know if at these events there is regulation involved with you must stay for this specific amount of time before you're allowed to leave. I don't know if they ask you at the door, are you doing this for this requirement? I don't know. I don't know all the details. I think the only thing that makes me believe that maybe I'm somewhat credible to bring this up is the fact that I was in a course that meets the requirement way back in the day before this was even really before it was approved to be part of the curriculum, I guess, for this requirement. So I think that, again, we can agree on whole session if we want to, because I think currently in the university guideline or in the events that I see, there is not a specific start through end time. I think one of them listed that, if I remember right, one of them listed as being from 1 to 5 p.m. I think that was one of the last ones. I can't imagine that they would have a way to keep students there for 4 hours. It sounds like the kind of thing that maybe you dropped in and attended. I don't think that there's a hugely strict requirement. The thing is, I I have a general lack of confidence in the status of the events pathway right now because of the fact that they have not had an event since that time frame. So at least in my mind, I'm starting to think maybe the events pathway isn't going so well for them. I have no way of actually completely verifying that. I haven't asked anyone. But I think this is where we come in and say we have regular calendar events that students can organize into their schedule to meet this. And that's kind of where I'm at on it. Is just the fact that we offer something that's reliable, and if students feel inclined to choose these events to fulfill that pathway, they can do that, and we can easily provide that for them.
Yeah. Could someone yield time to President Kang? Senator Chris.
I yield 5 minutes to President Kang.
Thank you, Senator Chris. So I believe that this resolution is trying to add our Purdue PSG, Senate, and court sessions to one of the 6 approved civics-related events that students can attend and mark as one of their 6 to fulfill their civics event pathway to get their approval on passing this civics literacy requirement. And so in terms of the duration, given that, yes, I don't think the length, like for some of them are presidential speaker series and those will probably last 2 hours, but even saying that some of these Senate sessions are included on our YouTube page could be an option for students to go in and watch a video just like as if they would watch a podcast. But in terms of the debate of how long students are required to stay, as long as they are able to write a paper that says, they've increased understanding of their importance on political issues, it grew with student engagement in American politics, increased their civic knowledge. That would be up to the people who are actually implementing and approving these events as civic literacy proficiency events, and to give us the okay to go on that.
Thank you, President Kang. Any other discussion? Senator Dodonna.
Looking on the civic literacy website, it seems that with the podcast option, it's like 12, 15-minute podcast. I guess the reason I'm focused on the duration of it is because it sort of goes back to whether students will pick this or not pick this, because I think oftentimes they'll pick it based on how long it would take. And so I'd want to make this as competitive with the rest of the options, and that's why I'm thinking about the length and duration of that and how much effort it would take for students to participate in it. And talking about that 2 bill requirement, I know that the author said earlier that there is no standard for the reflections, which I don't think is within this wheelhouse, but I do think if we're saying that the only thing we care about is their ability to complete a reflection, which I think was what President Kang was talking about, is do we then even need a length requirement for how long they have to attend, because they could write it, as long as they feel that they can write an accurate reflection of it? Do we need a requirement of length as long as they are capable of doing that, if that's the sort of standard we want to meet? These are sort of questions for Senate.
Yeah. Any other discussion? I saw some placards. Yeah, Senator Braun.
Fairly similar. I would agree with what's previously been said, just because I know there was just a little bit in the section about in this resolution about attendance, or not the actual resolution, but the more specific stuff. But if people were going to be able to leave early, then we'd have to assign someone to figure out who left early, if they got up in the middle of the session, things like that. I don't think we're going to want to be following up on that. So I feel like either stay the whole session or don't address it at all.
Senator Terrell.
I personally am in favor of making the requirement for them to stay for the full duration of a meeting. Sorry, I don't know why my mic kept going out. I'm pretty loud anyway. But it's just because, in my perspective, if they're coming here to learn something, I wouldn't want them just to stay for the speaker and then think that that is basically all we do, just listen to people talk to us, and then we're like, oh, thanks for talking to us, and then they leave. They don't ever really get a grasp of what we do, and yet they were here for an hour.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for them to stay for the duration, because then we, as senators, know that we are doing our duty of helping them learn more about the process, because they have seen us start to finish a full session. There's no way they wouldn't have a better understanding than if they just saw us do one bill. And what if it is one of those bills where we have to like pause the rules and debate for 45 minutes, and then I'm just saying, I think to get the full experience, to be able to actually write a correct reflection on what we want them to learn from the experience, they should stay for all of it, especially if they're only choosing to come once or there's 6 events. Like, we all come here, on a voluntary basis every other week. One meeting is not going to kill you, in my opinion.
Yeah. Senator Ferguson.
I kind of want to combine, you all hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I kind of want to combine a few of the different ideas because I do agree with Sydney that it seems to me as though staying for the duration of the meeting would be the easiest logistically, because I worry, and I come from this on a logistics standpoint, I worry about our ability to facilitate something. We're trying to figure out who left early, who left before 2 bills, who left before 3 bills. Like, by setting a requirement either to stay for a little bit until they can write a reflection or to stay for the entirety of the session feels as though it's the easiest option for us logistically, in my opinion.
Yeah. Senator Bowman.
Yeah, I also definitely think that staying the entire time would probably be the best. Another thing is, even if we are in the middle of one of those longer sessions, and especially because I know that the literacy requirement needs to be completed by a certain deadline, what if it's the last week to complete it and, the room is packed and all of a sudden people are like, oh, I met my requirement. Everybody stands up and leaves. That's not only really distracting, it's just kind of, it's kind of hard to say that we would not stop and, wait till everybody left, and then it would hinder our flow of discussion as well. And also just kind of going off Sydney's point, I know that all of us are in, different clubs, different organizations, and I'm sure at some point, every person on this university is going to go to some kind of like 5-6 hour event for their organization of choosing. So it's really not too much of a, stretch to ask for somebody to stay for like a 3-hour Senate session just once during the academic year. It's, people do way more for other things, and it would be informative to see the whole process start to finish. So I'm definitely in favor of having them stay the entire time.
Yeah. Senator Brown.
I mostly agree with what's being said. I think the main thing right now is first getting this resolution passed so that it becomes an event, and then that way we can have these discussions. And ultimately, this was just happened with the freshman class. It's in its infancy. There's still lots of things to be learned. I think kind of going off of the staying the entire time, it might help if we can send something out saying like these, not maybe the minutes, but an overarching just agenda for it. So that way students can say, oh shoot, there are 20 things happening. Maybe I don't want to go to this one. Or maybe I'm really interested in Senate and I do want to go to that one. I think that can be very helpful. But like I originally said, I think just voting this in is a great first step. And I really support this resolution.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Senator Silver.
Yeah, so I'm still a little confused. I know that we've talked about it a few times already about exactly what are we voting on, because I feel like we're going like a lot of the questions that we were asking in caucus and that we're asking now are very detailed oriented, and I'm not sure if we should be focusing more on the details specifically, or is it just like a resolution in support of adding this into the civics literacy, and then later on we come back, or maybe part of this university senate actually goes in detail about all of these specifics.
Yeah. Eric.
Yeah, so events are strictly these Senate sessions, and then courts, traffic court sessions. Those are the only 2 events that are being added. Right now, the resolution also stipulates that, I'm not sure exactly what page, someone could probably find this somewhere, but it's not just a one and done. They can attend these and attend these repeatedly if they want to meet all 6 events if they want to. So it's not just one experience. They could attend as many of these as they want to. I guess that's the other thing I just want to point out is the fact that if they like it the first time, they can come back. So that's kind of, I think that's all. That's all I
and
gotta
Senator
say.
Silver, I think to answer your question a little bit more pointedly, this is a resolution to give this recommendation to University Senate and the administrators that implement the civics literacy requirement. Is that better? Answer it.
So like how detailed should we really be getting about this, I guess is my overall question.
Yeah, Senator Chris.
So trying to kind of answer your question, from at least what I'm seeing is we should not be very detail oriented at all, because this bill or the resolution that we're actually voting on is only the first page that we have, and then the rest is just information about civics literacy and all that stuff. So really just looking at the actual resolution, it's very broad, which is a good thing at this point, and then later on down the road we can discuss if this gets through and everything, we can discuss the more specifics in the two meetings or the two issues.
Yeah, and also as a point of clarification, this is a conversation that has been had with administrators all year. And we haven't received, I would say, direct pushback. Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there has been some hesitancy to include PSG. So this resolution is to first get support from this body before kind of continuing those talks. Yeah, Senator DeDonna.
While I do understand the need for sort of having a more general resolution in this effect, I do think that what we're talking about now has a place in the current draft that we're looking at. I think that if we're going to offer a recommendation that these should be event pathways, then having an understanding of like, we're saying that these events should be event pathways, and then perhaps we're going to then like divide it up into technically 25% of this event is the event pathway. I think that it should be clear within this part, like just a sentence that says, like, when we say event, we mean the entire meeting, and that would clarify these issues. I think it's important to do this here because of all those reasons we've talked about, that the necessity of having those conversations, the fact that it'd be disruptive for people to continuously walk out, it'd be hard to have attendance tracking for that. So I think that it'd be important within this resolution, even with its openness and generality, to have a specification that we are talking about all meetings, the entirety of the meeting. Just a quick clarification within this resolution.
Are you proposing an amendment?
I can.
Okay. And it cannot be a friendly amendment because Divya's not here, so it has to be a formal amendment.
So I propose
Eric, would you like to talk first, or?
Just
Sorry,
really quickly, I just want to back up what Senator Donna is saying. The reason why I went into as great a detail as I did on this is because this is where the action happens. I think we all want to see PSG have a more active role in helping students fulfill this requirement. At the same time, this is the group who is going to be evaluated. I mean, not necessarily evaluated by students, but students are going to be watching us, right? And we're helping them fulfill a graduation requirement. So I felt it necessary to flesh out all the details here in front of you guys, who are going to be the ones who are going to be, responsible for helping students get through this. So, and after thinking about it more, the idea of making them, stay for the entire session, like that's a very, very safe place to start. And we can, if at some point maybe we lose interest, if students come and like that took 3 hours or something like that, if that happens, then maybe we can revisit that discussion. But I mean, if we want to have a baseline of stay the whole time and see where that goes, I think that's a good starting point for this.
Yeah. And Senator DeDonna, are you ready for the floor again, or would you like some more time?
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure that we all understand that if an amendment is made, it has to be on the first page of this document, not later in the clarification.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Senator Chris?
Yeah, I'm just going to delay for a little bit while she tries to figure out what she's going to say. But I think this is a good idea. I think this is a great start, and this way more people will start coming to these meetings.
The stress.
Senator Chris, would you like to yield some time to President Kang behind you?
I would, yes. Can I yield 5 minutes to President Kang?
President Kang, go ahead.
Okay, great. I really liked Senator Brown's suggestion on making the agenda public prior to the meetings for the students to be able to review how long they think the duration would be, and perhaps even, just cut the, I appreciate that suggestion in terms of the agenda, because just like I guess I'll give the example of local governments. For a city council example, we make the council agenda public prior to the meeting, and people who are interested in certain resolutions or ordinances will decide to come, and some will choose to not come. So and that was kind of my tying point as well. I think in terms of what I've learned from Senate sessions has really helped me as during my time on council, because both used Robert's rules, and as someone who has not been very proficient in Robert's rules, being able to attend and continue learning and seeing patterns, knowing how things are called to the floor, how things are debated, that sort of level of respectability, that sort of level of professionalism, I think I've learned mostly from observing rather than literally reading Robert's rules. So when students are joining our sessions and they're watching us debate, watching students debate, like people their own age, engaging in this sort of way, I think could be really influential, which is probably one of the key driving points that I would give to the people who decide what sort of events are going to be decided to be on the civic events pathway requirements. And also, I think, I don't know if you guys could back me up on this one, but if you guys are filling out an APF, you guys can actually check a box that says we want this event to fulfill the civics the requirement. I think our resolution is saying more that we would like to see the Senate sessions and the court sessions be officially recognized throughout the entire year, through the entire year by the university as events that students can go to enrich their civic engagement, civic literacy. So that's why it's so strong. That's really the nature of it, as I see it. So I think, Ellie, your amendment, is it ready? Okay, it's ready. But just again, reiterating my first point, making it public would definitely benefit it. Thus, adding this amendment, I support it.
Senator DeDona.
Madam President, I propose an amendment to strike out the section that says that Purdue student government requests these two major reoccurring PSG events and replace it with that Purdue student government requests the entirety of the PSG Senate session and PSG traffic court.
Is there a second?
Second.
This amendment, as read, is amendable and debatable and requires a majority vote. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Yeah, Senator Borrello.
So when we say they have to stay for the entirety, does that specifically only count for in-person, or could they watch the entire video version of it, and would that still count?
Senator Chris.
Just my personal point of view, I think they should have to actually be here in person for that and not just be able to watch it, because people can speed up the YouTube videos or have it on playing in the background. They're here, they at least have to be a little more engaged.
Senator Terrell.
I 100% agree with that. It definitely needs to be in person because people be sus.
Senator DeDona.
Well, I do definitely agree with the sentiments of Senator Chris and Senator Terrell. I do think that we shouldn't specify it here. I think that could be I feel very firmly that the entirety should, but I don't feel as strongly about the virtual or non-virtual option, and I think that should be a point of discussion with the university if that's possible, particularly because all of the options are virtual currently, and so it might help. I think it should be a conversation later down the road, in my opinion, rather than a new amendment.
Yeah. Senator
Madam President, point of order. I just want to make sure that we're talking about our current amendment and not trying to propose an amendment to an amendment if we can.
Yeah, I think the questions currently are clarifying language that could or could not be read through the lines of this amendment. Yeah, Senator Perlow.
Yeah, that's just what I was getting at, because I don't think that it's our place to now decide if it's one or the other. And then also, like, if you do want to be competitive with the other pathways, I think that giving them the virtual option could help us out in that regard.
Okay. Any other? Yeah, Senator Bowman.
Yeah, I was just going to reiterate that I think right now, especially, like, although I know we've also had our, like, mask mandate and everything lifted, but, like, we really don't know what the future holds, and especially just, like, still with COVID being, like, a thing that's, you know, kind of in the back of our minds, definitely withholding on making a virtual vs in-person decision until next year. But I think I would personally support in person, but, you know, we don't know what is going to happen, so it's definitely an important conversation to keep in mind.
Yeah. Any other discussion on the amendment proposed by Senator DeDona? Okay, now we'll move on to a vote strictly on the amendment. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Okay, the amendment passes unanimously. So now moving on to the main motion at hand with that amended language. Is there any further discussion on the main motion as a whole? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, please raise your name placards. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? With that, 2173 passes unanimously. Congratulations. Do I hear any other new business? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into announcements. Do we have any announcements? Senator Terrell?
I would like to announce, and I know this is going to be really surprising because no one has heard me talk about parking passes with dining and culinary, but me and President King do have our second meeting on Monday, this coming Monday with Keen, Red Oak, and some other people. I actually got the director from Dining and Culinary to join us to get some additional input from someone who they might put a little bit more weight behind, arguably. So real excited for that. Be prepared to hear my update because we all know that's the hill I have my stake in. So.
Thank you, Senator Terrell. Any other announcements? President Kang?
Just wanted to, now that election season is in full swing, wanted to make it clear that, not that I've seen this happen, but just so I know that I've announced it, there should be no campaigning, absolutely no campaigning in our Kroc offices. So that is the second floor on, I can't remember, 230?
Yeah. 270.
270, yeah, that area, that whole area. Please do not hang any posters. Do not have any elections discussions with your team, with one another, nor have any meetings regarding campaign planning, nothing like that. That is, we know you guys love that space and you guys use it very well. It's just a matter of respecting each other, not having any like tension in the office, keeping that space for strictly PSG work, staying focused. And given that there are so many teams, just wanted to make sure that that was on the record.
It's also written explicitly in the election rules, so.
That too.
It's a big no-no.
Right, but just as individuals, I know that perhaps some of our friends could be running for certain positions, so don't even talk about it in that way. Just talk about it in another area in Kroc.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Braden.
Also, if you don't already know, the debate is tomorrow. Please come to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
7 p.m. North Ballroom?
7 p.m. North Ballroom. Okay. We have 300 seats. I need them all filled. I'm begging you. Fill them. Thanks.
Also, piggybacking off the kind of elections talk, we have 5 out of the 6 tickets here. I wish you all the best of luck. I'm here as a resource to answer just general questions about the job. I know it could be probably kind of scary to sit in the back and be like, oh my gosh, this is what I could potentially be doing one day. But I'd love to answer any questions you have. And I wish you the best of luck with each of your campaigns. Enjoy every moment of it. And I hope you make some really solid connections with the student body. Yeah, go ahead, Vince. Welcome back.
Yeah, nice to see everybody again. This is for the person, whoever's in the back recording the video. Ed, I'm not sure if it's you, but whoever it is, please come see me after. I'll leave it at that, and we can have our conversation after. Okay.
I talked to him as well. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing that no more, we'll go ahead and move into Senate snaps. Yeah, Pro Temp Reynolds.
I would like to give a snap to everyone who debated on the floor about this last resolution, because that is what we were all here for. I know sometimes we joke about it, but overall, I'm glad that you are all reading the legislation that people are writing and having opinions on it and voicing them. That's what we're here for. So snaps to everyone who participated in that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, quick snaps to all those that are running for office for next year. It's really exciting to see everyone want to do it, but also to the ones that haven't had or aren't in Senate right now that want to join up. Really excited to see you guys join in. So snaps to them.
Woo. Senate snaps. Senator Terrell.
I'm giving a Senate snap to Senator Bowman, who literally within the hour found out that she was awarded an internship. So that's very exciting. Congratulations.
Congrats. Senator Dodona.
I'm giving snaps to Senator Braun and Senator Bowman. They both had to come to an emergency FA meeting to review the SOGA and SFAB guidelines on a Friday before spring break at 8 o'clock. So that was the meanest thing I've ever had to do to get something passed onto the floor, and they were very nice and good sports about it and didn't hold it against me. So they both deserve Senate snaps for being so active and understanding the need to get this on the floor as soon as possible, and they deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Mike, go ahead.
I want to give a big shout out to the SOGA board for all the work they've done this year, including the 3 days straight of viewing 71 presentations and then 9 hours straight from 5 p.m. until nearly 2 a.m. for deliberation on SFAB. And of course, big shout out to Sean chairing that up, keeping it moving, all that.
Woo! Senator Chris.
I might be a little biased here, but I'm going to give snaps to Braden. He's done a great job as elections director so far, and for having 6 tickets this year. That's awesome that he somehow got so many people to run. Nice work.
Woo! Good job, Braden. Go ahead, Sean.
I would also like to snap the FA committee for working with me, and also Pro Tem Reynolds and Senator Ferguson while we worked through this legislation. Even after I skipped town, they were still working on it, so thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, Senator Brown.
Snaps to you, Vice President. Another killer dinner. Thank you.
Oh, glad you liked it. Yeah, go ahead.
This goes back to before spring break, but I want to give Senate snaps to the CSRA committee for the MHA event we put on. I was super nervous. I was thinking about all the ways that the hamster balls could go wrong on Croc Lawn. Lots of obstacles, but we did amazing. And then also extending that to Pro Temp Reynolds and ABTS liaison for putting on a great MHA.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, Senator Bowman.
Yeah, I'd like to snap Senator Dodona. With all the FA has been insane recently, and especially over spring break. You were great with that meeting. We love you. Absolutely nothing against you. And yeah, you've just been doing a great job, and it's been really crazy lately. So,
thank you. Any other Senate snaps? Just one quick more announcement. Anybody who had to recuse themselves for the student activity fee report bill, could you just come see me afterwards, because I want to make sure I recorded your name down correctly. And seeing no further announcement of snaps, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Chris. Sorry, Sydney.
Madam Chair, I move that we do now adjourn.
Second.
It has been properly motioned and seconded to adjourn this meeting. It is not amendable, not debatable, and requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.